For many older adults, the word nursing home brings up a mix of fear, sadness, and a sense of finality. It's often seen as the last stop, a place you go when independence is lost and choices disappear. But what if we told you that moving into a nursing home isn't the only option? In fact, millions of seniors today are choosing alternative lifestyles that give them freedom, purpose, and safety without sacrificing dignity. Let's be honest. The traditional nursing home model, shared rooms, strict schedules, limited mobility, institutional food, feels outdated in a world where seniors are living longer, staying sharper, and expecting more from their golden years. Many facilities are understaffed, overbooked, and designed more for medical efficiency than emotional well-being. I want to introduce you to Betty. She's 78 and full of life, a retired teacher, book club member, and plant lover. After her husband passed, her children urged her to move into an assisted facility. They meant well, but Betty toured 3 places and came home in tears. It felt like I'd be giving up everything, she said. My space, my rhythm, my identity. So instead, Betty started researching alternative options, things she had never heard about before. And what she discovered changed everything. Because here's the truth. A wave of new independent living models is rising across the country. Designed to support aging with autonomy, these alternatives offer seniors like Betty the power to design their lives the way they want, even if they need a little help along the way. Whether it's small co-living setups, aging-in-place tech, mobile home villages, or care-sharing communities, seniors are reinventing how we age, and they're not waiting for permission. The rise of shared senior co-living, companionship without sacrificing freedom. Imagine living in a spacious home with a handful of other seniors, each person with their own private room or suite, but sharing a beautiful kitchen, garden, and common areas. There's a rotation for cooking, movie nights in the living room, and someone always nearby in case of emergency. With their own private room model of senior co-living, but sharing it's one of the most rapidly growing trend in modern aging. There's a rotation for cooking, because it brings back what many nursing homes take away. Always nearby in case of emergency. With their own private connection. That's the model of senior story of Harold, and it's one of the most rapidly growing trends in modern widowers now in their late. Why is it working for cooking rather than live alone? Back what many nursing homes take away. Always nearby in case of emergency. Control two other private connection. Model of senior story of Harold, and it's one of the most rapidly growing trends in modern widowers now in their late. Why is it working for cooking rather than live alone? Back what many nursing homes take away. Always nearby in case of emergency. Control other connection. Model or senior care of Harold, is one of the most rapidly growing trends in modern widowers now in their late. Why expenses are shared because of living back when many nursing homes take always nearby in case of emergency. Control other connection. Model or senior care of Harold, is one of the most rapidly growing trends in modern widowers now in their late. Why expenses are shared rather than living back when many nursing homes take always nearby in case of emergency. Control other connection. Model or senior care of Harold, is one of the most rapidly growing trends in modern widowers now in their late. Why expenses are shared rather than living back when many nursing homes take always nearby in case of emergency. Control or senior care of Harold, is one of the most rapidly growing trends in modern widowers now in their late. Why expenses are shared because living back when many nursing homes take always nearby in case of emergency. Fall sensors. Lights turn on as you walk into a room. Fall detection systems immediately notify emergency contacts. Medication dispensers. These machines sort pills and notify you when it's time to take them, eliminating confusion. Video doorbells and smart locks. See who's at the door and control access remotely for added security. Let's look at Martha. She's 81, lives alone, and refused to leave her house after her husband died. Her family was scared, but with smart plugs, motion lights, a fall sensor bracelet, and Alexa to call for help, she's now safer than ever, and happier too. Let's look at Martha. She's 81, lives alone, and refused to leave her house after her husband died. Her family was scared, but with smart plugs, motion lights, a fall sensor bracelet, and Alexa to call for help, she's now safer than ever, and happier too. These tools are affordable, especially compared to nursing home costs, and many states even offer funding or grants to help install them. But aging in place isn't just about gadgets. It also means hiring part-time home aides, even just for 2 hours a day, meal delivery services designed for seniors, telehealth checkups that bring the doctor to your screen. You create a hybrid support system, tech plus part-time help, so you can stay home, stay sharp, and stay in charge. Tiny homes and senior villages. Small spaces, big freedom. In the heart of Oregon, a group of seniors lives in a circle of small, beautiful homes. Each house is under 600 square feet, easy to clean, cheap to heat, and custom designed with aging bodies in mind. The community shares a garden, a communal kitchen, and hosts weekly dinners. No nurses, no institutional walls, just neighbors who watch out for each other. Welcome to the tiny home and modular village movement, a bold and refreshing answer to senior living. Tiny homes offer the ultimate blend of privacy and simplicity. These aren't glorified sheds. They're elegant, energy efficient, and designed with features like zero-step entries, wide doorways, walk-in showers, and emergency call buttons. Why are seniors choosing this path? Cost savings. Owning or renting a tiny home costs far less than nursing homes or full-size properties. Mobility. Many tiny homes are modular and can be placed in a child's backyard, perfect for staying close to family without giving up independence. Community. Many villages have rules against isolation, encouraging shared meals, walks, and mutual caregiving. Let me introduce James and Linda. In their late 70s, they sold their big house and downsized to a custom-built tiny home near their daughter's place. James says, "I feel more free now than I did at 40. They grow herbs, video chat with grandkids, and have game nights with fellow tiny home neighbors. There are even companies now designing portable elder cottages, also known as granny pods, that can be parked in a backyard and connected to water and power. Tiny homes offer independence without isolation, affordability without compromise, comfort without clutter. If you're someone who values simplicity, nature, and people, you may find tiny living is the biggest gift you give yourself. But what if you're not into co-living or tiny houses? What if you crave independence but still want easy access to care? Intergenerational communities. the future of aging with purpose and people. Imagine this. You walk outside and see children playing, teens helping with groceries, and a retired nurse hosting a free health clinic in the community hall. You're not in a facility. You're in a village where every generation lives together and everyone has a role to play. That's the heart of intergenerational care communities, one of the most forward-thinking alternatives to nursing homes in the modern world. These communities intentionally mix seniors with younger residents, students, single parents, young professionals, in ways that benefit both. You might live next door to a young couple who helps with errands while you offer tutoring, gardening help, or simply a listening ear. The magic here is purpose. Seniors thrive when they feel useful, not just cared for. Young people thrive when they have mentors and stability. Together, they form powerful bonds that transcend age. Real-world examples. In the Netherlands, students live rent-free in senior homes in exchange for 30 volunteer hours per month. U.S. cities like Cleveland and Austin are developing mixed-age neighborhoods with shared parks, grocery co-ops, and wellness centers. Some nonprofits are launching senior foster homes where older adults support children in need, creating mutual healing. Here's the story of Joan. At 82, she moved into a shared apartment above a daycare. She reads to the toddlers, eats lunch with staff, and teaches knitting to teenage volunteers. "I laugh more now than I did in my 60s, she says. These communities provide emotional richness. Laughter, play, and learning are daily vitamins. Safety nets. There's always someone nearby to check in. Low-cost living. Shared services reduce bills for everyone. It's a model rooted in belonging, not just support. Now, here's you don't need to wait until it's time for a nursing home. The future of aging is about choice, connection, and courage. Talk to your family about these alternatives. Research co-living, smart tech, tiny homes, or care communities near you. Start small. Modify your home, reach out to a friend, or explore new housing models. And most importantly, share this video. Someone you love needs to know there's more than one path to grow older. Hit subscribe if you want more human-centered health and lifestyle advice for life after 60. You're not just aging, you're living forward. Let's do it on your terms. Let me ask you a serious question. What separates the small group of seniors who remain sharp, active, and independent after 80 from the rest who slowly fade into weakness, dependency, and isolation? It's not luck, it's not magic, and it's not just genetics. It's functionality. It's the ability to do 5 key things that, according to doctors and geriatric health studies, are directly tied to long life, freedom, and vibrant health. Now here's the shocking truth. Only 5% of people over 80 can still do all 5. That means 95 out of 100 seniors gradually lose one or more of these abilities, and once that decline starts, it rarely stops. One misstep turns into fear of falling. One skipped walk turns into muscle loss. One lost ability turns into needing full-time care. But those 5%, they're doing something differently. They're defying the odds. And you know what? Many of them didn't start out strong. Many had setbacks, surgeries, chronic diseases. Some lost loved ones. Some battled loneliness. But they did something the rest didn't. They protected these 5 abilities like their life depended on it, because it does. In this 6-part series, I'm going to show you exactly what these 5 physical and mental capabilities are, why they matter so much after 80, and how you can start reclaiming them today, even if you've already lost one. Because it's never too late to get stronger, more balanced, and more confident in your body again. But first, we need to set the stage. Let's talk about what aging really looks like for most people after 80. Because once you understand the trap, you'll be far more motivated to avoid it. Most seniors after 80 begin to enter what doctors call the frailty zone. That's a clinical term, frailty. And it's not about age, it's about function. It means a person is walking slower, losing strength, fatigued easily, and is at greater risk of falls, hospitalizations, and death. Frailty doesn't happen overnight. It builds up from decades of sedentary habits, poor nutrition, lost muscle, and unchallenged balance. And once someone becomes frail, it's like a cascade effect. Every system of the body weakens faster. But here's the inspiring part. Frailty is preventable, and in many cases, it's reversible. The seniors who stay out of this danger zone, they're the ones who keep moving, who stay mentally alert, who challenge their balance and mobility every day, who prioritize protein, hydration, strength, and sleep. They don't wait until they feel frail to act. They act to stay ahead of it. Now let me tell you something that will shift your perspective. In a large gerontology study published in the Journal of Aging and Health, researchers found that older adults who could maintain 5 specific daily capabilities had twice the chance of reaching 90+ in good health. Not just living longer, but living stronger. So what are these 5 things only 5% of seniors can still do after 80? They are: get up from the floor without using their hands, climb a full flight of stairs without stopping, walk a half mile without assistance, lift and carry 10 to 15 pounds comfortably, balance on one foot for 10 seconds or longer. Each of these might sound simple at first glance, but when you're 80, they're powerful indicators of total body function, muscle, joint health, core strength, heart and lung capacity, proprioception, and nervous system balance. The power of rising from the floor, the ultimate longevity test. Of all the 5 abilities that define functional independence after 80, this one is the most underrated and overlooked. Can you get up from the floor without using your hands? At first glance, it seems like a simple movement, a basic physical task. But in reality, this ability is one of the most powerful predictors of longevity, fall recovery, and total body resilience. Let me explain. In a landmark Brazilian study involving over 2,000 adults aged 51 to 80, researchers found that individuals who could sit and rise from the floor without using their hands, knees, or support had a significantly lower risk of death over the next 6 years. In fact, those with the lowest scores on this test were 5 to 6 times more likely to die during the study period. Why? Because this movement reflects multiple systems working together: muscle strength, joint flexibility, balance, core coordination, and nervous system control. When you're 30 or 40, you don't think twice about getting off the ground. But as we age, everything from arthritis to muscle loss to poor balance makes this motion harder. And if you fall or collapse and can't rise again, without help, it becomes a medical emergency. That's why doctors now refer to this as the sit-to-rise longevity test. It's not about convenience, it's about survival. Here's the thing: most people after 80 lose this ability because they stop practicing it. You don't use it, you lose it. We stop sitting on the ground. We avoid kneeling. We forget how to shift our weight. We become stiff, hesitant, and fragile. And once the brain starts believing the floor is dangerous, the body follows by tensing up and avoiding it altogether. But what if I told you that you can relearn this skill, that it's never too late to train your body to move with more grace and confidence? Because thousands of seniors have done just that, with intention, patience, and simple daily practice. Let's talk about how. First, assess yourself safely. Sit on the floor with support nearby, a chair or sturdy coffee table. Try standing up without using your hands. If you can't do it, don't worry. That's your baseline. Now, here's how to rebuild this vital ability. Leg strengthening. Do chair squats daily. Sit and stand 10 to 15 times from a firm chair without using your hands. This builds quads, glutes, and hip stability. Core activation. Practice pelvic tilts and seated marches. These strengthen the deep muscles that stabilize your spine and pelvis. Flexibility work. Stretch your hip flexors, hamstrings, and calves gently every morning. When joints move freely, the body moves efficiently. Controlled descent practice. Practice sitting down on a cushion on the floor, using one hand at first if needed, then working toward using less support over time. Get up training. Once on the floor, roll to your side, place one foot flat, push up with your opposite hand, and rise to a kneeling position. Then plant one foot forward and stand. Repeat this 1 to 2 times a day with supervision. The key here is to stay consistent. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to tell your body, we're going to keep this skill alive. With just 5 to 10 minutes a day of dedicated practice, most seniors regain remarkable ease in this motion within weeks. And here's something emotional I want you to hear. Being able to get off the floor without help is about more than survival. It's about dignity. It means you can garden again, play with your grandkids on the carpet, stretch out to do morning exercises, pray, dance, live. This simple movement unlocks a sense of freedom. Freedom from fear, from embarrassment, from dependency. That's why it's the first and most sacred of the 5 longevity movements. And you can protect it even after 80. The strength to rise. Why climbing a full flight of stairs without stopping predicts heart and lung health after 80. There's something so symbolic, almost heroic, about a person in their 80s confidently walking up a full flight of stairs without hesitation. No gasping, no resting on the railing, just pure, steady strength. In fact, doctors often say that if you want to know whether a senior will still be alive and independent 5 years from now, don't check their blood pressure, watch them climb a staircase. Why? Because climbing stairs is one of the most powerful predictors of cardiovascular health, lung capacity, and muscular endurance in older adults. It activates every major muscle group in your lower body: quadriceps, hamstrings, glutes, and calves. It demands coordination from your joints and stability from your core. But most importantly, it challenges your heart and lungs to deliver oxygen efficiently. And here's the truth. By 80, most people can't do it, or won't. They avoid stairs at all costs. Elevators become the default. One short climb leaves them winded, lightheaded, or sore. But that decline didn't happen overnight. It came from years of choosing comfort over challenge. And every time the stairs were avoided, strength was lost. Yet in studies from cardiology and gerontology clinics across Europe and the US, seniors who could climb 10 to 12 steps without rest had up to 40% lower risk of death from all causes. That includes heart attacks, strokes, respiratory illness, and complications from immobility. Climbing stairs is like a stress test your body performs for you every day. And if you can still pass it at 80 or beyond, you're already beating the odds. But what if you can't? What if stairs scare you now? The good news is, just like rising from the floor, this is a skill you can rebuild. Even if you haven't climbed stairs in years, your body is listening. And it wants to grow strong again if you give it a reason. Let's start with daily strengthening habits that rebuild the muscles and stamina needed for stairs. Step-ups, low surface. Use a sturdy platform 4 to 6 inches high. Step up with your right foot, then your left. Step down. Repeat 10 to 15 times per leg, once or twice a day. This mimics the stair motion. Wall sits. Stand against a wall. Slide down into a gentle squat. Hold for 10 to 30 seconds. This activates your thigh and hip muscles, critical for climbing. Seated marches. Sit in a sturdy chair and lift one knee at a time. Do 20 reps. This activates the hip flexors and core, essential for lifting your foot on each step. Breathing drills. Practice slow, deep breathing while walking. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts. Exhale through the mouth for 6. This strengthens lung control and oxygen efficiency. Mini stair practice. If you have access to 2 to 3 steps, begin by climbing just 1 step up and down slowly, holding a rail if needed. Over time, add more steps and reduce the support. Safety first. If you have knee pain, arthritis, or dizziness, speak with your doctor or physical therapist before attempting full stair climbs. But don't give up. There's always a progression. And here's something I always remind my patients. Climbing stairs isn't just physical, it's mental. It says, I can rise. I can go higher. I still have elevation in me. It's a symbol of autonomy, of still reaching up, even in your later years. If you've ever visited an older person who can no longer go upstairs in their own home, you know how quickly life gets limited. Bedrooms are relocated. Bathrooms become difficult. That little staircase becomes a wall. But for those who keep the ability to climb, doors stay open. Independence remains. Now imagine this. You're 84. You've just come back from the store. You carry your small grocery bag up your front steps, steady, unshaken. You feel your heart beating strong, your legs stable. You pause at the top, not because you're breathless, but because you're grateful. That is what these small exercises give you. Not just health, but pride. The 30-minute lifeline. Why walking half a mile without help predicts longevity, mood, and brain power. If you want to know whether someone over 80 will still be living independently next year, don't check their cholesterol. Don't look at their weight. Just watch them walk. Specifically, watch whether they can walk half a mile, roughly 1,000 steps, without assistance. No cane, no walker, no person holding their arm. That ability alone predicts how long they'll live, how well their brain will function, and how soon they'll need full-time care. Walking endurance is so powerful, it's now considered a functional vital sign by geriatric doctors. It's not just about mobility. It reflects cardiovascular strength, joint coordination, balance, oxygen efficiency, muscular stamina, and neuromotor function, all in one simple movement. Walking half a mile without stopping means your entire system is still integrated and resilient. But by the time most people reach 80, this distance becomes a challenge. Not because the body forgot how to walk, but because years of slowing down led to deconditioning. Here's what happens. We stop walking long distances out of habit. Muscle mass slowly declines, called sarcopenia. Joints stiffen, posture weakens. Lung capacity reduces. Fatigue shows up faster. Fear of falling makes us hesitant. And then when we need to walk, say at an airport, hospital, or family gathering, we realize we can't. In research from the Journal of the American Geriatric Society, seniors over 70 who could walk at least 0.5 miles per day had over 40% lower risk of cognitive decline and death within the next 5 years. Why? Because walking isn't just a leg exercise. It stimulates brain circulation, builds bone density, improves insulin sensitivity, reduces depression, and strengthens the immune system. So what can you do if you currently struggle with walking distance? Let's build it back, gently, safely, and daily. Here's a 4-week plan for walking independence. Week 1, baseline movement. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Walk at a comfortable pace, indoors or outdoors. Note how far you got and how you felt. Rest as needed. Do this twice per day. Week 2, increase by intervals. Add 1 to 2 minutes every 2 days. Use music or audio to stay motivated. Focus on upright posture, head up, shoulders back, gentle swing in arms. Week 3, distance focus. Measure out 0.25 miles, about 400 steps, or 2 to 3 city blocks. Walk that distance once per day, then twice. If balance is shaky, walk near a wall or railing. Safety first. Week 4, sustain the half-mile walk. 0.5 miles, 5 to 6 days a week. Do it in one go if possible. If not, take a short break halfway. If pain, arthritis, or neuropathy makes this difficult, use aquatic walking in a pool or a recumbent indoor bike to simulate the motion with less impact. The key is endurance, not speed. You're training your heart, lungs, and body to move freely without fear. And don't underestimate the mental benefits of walking. In studies on Alzheimer's prevention, seniors who walked at least 30 minutes a day had better memory, focus, and emotional well-being than those who didn't. Walking boosts endorphins, clears the mind, and reconnects you to your environment. Also, there's something emotionally powerful about walking unassisted. It says to the world, I'm still moving forward. It's about more than steps. It's about momentum. When you walk confidently, you feel less like a patient and more like a person in control. Carrying strength. Why lifting 10 to 15 pounds comfortably predicts independence, longevity, and confidence. There's a quiet dignity in being able to lift and carry your own groceries, or move a laundry basket, or pick up a small grandchild. For people over 80, this kind of functional strength isn't just a matter of convenience. It's a signal of independence